Thank you so much for inviting us to participate in this interesting seminar today, looking at the developments in the field of impact assessment and food innovations. We're really looking forward to sharing our experiences and hearing from the other initiatives. My name is Anna Davies, as Geraldine said, and I'm the Principal Investigator of ShareCity, which is an ERC-funded project, which is examining the practice and sustainability potential of ICT-mediated urban food sharing. So I'll be starting off the presentation today by providing some details on the background and co-design process briefly from the ShareCity project that culminated in the Share It Toolkit, and then Alwynne will take over to outline the testing process that we undertook and the current activities and plans for rolling out engagement with it. So just a bit of background. The ShareCity project takes at its starting point the meta-societal challenge that our current food system is socially, economically, and environmentally unsustainable and needs to change. And within this context, ShareCity specifically focuses on the urban ICT-mediated food sharing initiatives, which we took to be collective activities which bring people together around growing, cooking, eating, and redistributing food as sites of innovation in order to explore what exactly these organisations do and what impact they have or could have on the sustainability of urban food futures. So beginning in 2016, ShareCity has already generated many outputs related to research findings, all of which are open access and available through the website sharecity.ie. So please do check out the website and get in touch if you'd like to discuss anything further. Fundamentally, the bedrock of the project was the development of the ShareCity 100 database, which maps and categorises thousands of initiatives across 100 urban areas. This allowed us to identify case study cities of contrasting contexts where in-depth ethnographies were then undertaken across 9 cities with food sharing initiatives. Interview data and participant observation insights allowed us to identify the motivations and mechanisms through which initiatives operated and to discuss with them the goals and impacts, and importantly, to ask them how they identified and communicated the work that they did. We found limited reporting was conducted by initiatives with no impact reporting on 1/3 of all goals articulated. And this was an important precursor to the development of Share It. So we're working currently with an artist to translate the results of our futures thinking around food sharing into visualized scenarios to communicate with policymakers and citizens. But today we're going to be focusing on the 3rd objective of the project, which was assessing the sustainability impact of food sharing activities. So our ethnographic research had already indicated the common needs and challenges which face food sharing initiatives seeking to undertake sustainability reporting internationally. In response, Share It was co-designed to support initiatives to better understand and record their impacts and to communicate those impacts to wider stakeholders, including funders and participants. Our specific objective was to move beyond statements of reporting guidelines and principles to build an automated means for initiatives to create sustainability impact assessment reports, which we've done through the Share It online platform. We began from the position that food sharing initiatives themselves were best placed to identify their own goals, detail their current practices and reporting needs, and explain their capabilities. To ensure the needs of initiatives remained at the forefront of our activities, we worked closely to co-design the Share It Toolkit with 6 initiatives from 3 cities, London, Dublin, and Singapore, to work with us and develop a framework that ultimately became Share It. We undertook a 3-step review, respond, and refine process with workshops at each stage and ongoing interactions throughout the process, with the aim of creating an accessible, simple, comprehensive toolkit linked to the SDGs. The resulting Share It Toolkit has 3 different but complementary elements: the tool shed, the talent garden, and the greenhouse. Much of the initial effort went on reviewing existing indicators and tools. We were very keen not to reinvent the wheel, and on collating a list of social, economic, and environmental indicators that were relevant and appropriate to the collaborative acts of growing, cooking, eating, and redistributing food with others. The 34 resulting indicators form the heart of the tool shed, with initiatives able to select quantitative or qualitative indicators from a suite which are relevant to their activities. Once completed, a full and summary report is generated. So far, so familiar perhaps. However, during the co-design process, discussions between the team and our food sharing partners identified the need for other functionalities in the toolkit. The first was a means to capture and communicate the diverse impacts of food sharing, particularly those which are more intangible or effective in nature. The initiatives also wanted to capture benefits that were less technically oriented and which spoke more directly to their activities and their participants, both current and future. Here we developed a portal where users could upload diverse data, photos, images, pictures, stories, videos, and other materials as illustrated on the slide. Meanwhile, the greenhouse allows food sharers to connect with each other, to form a community of practice and share knowledge and experiences, a kind of dating agency for food sharing initiatives. Once these elements developed, we launched the online toolkit for user testing, and Alwynne is going to take over from here to outline that process.
Thanks, Anna. Yes, so the next step was to see how successful this co-design process was by bringing the pilot Share It toolkit to 8 groups from 3 cities and gathering feedback from them on their experience of using the Share It toolkit. So we received overwhelmingly positive feedback through surveys and meetings with these groups. Despite these groups not being from a technical expertise background with sustainability reporting, 90% of the answers they submitted to the Share It platform did successfully evidence their sustainability impacts. Users also reported feeling enabled to communicate their impacts, particularly using the summary report that the Share It toolshed produces. And all of the pilot users of the Share It toolkit reported that the outputs were useful to their work. So very positive feedback from the initial pilot testing. There were also some barriers identified in this research preventing food sharers from engaging with the Share It toolkit and sustainability reporting in general. External factors beyond the control of the food sharers and Share It included things such as illness or changing in roles in the food sharers group or changing in volunteer roles and staff roles. There were also technical and financial factors that acted as barriers. Different food sharing groups had different levels of familiarity and experience with reporting, and based on their size had different capacities to engage with the workload for reporting. The Share It pilot itself was also limited by a design budget and could provide quite extensive functionality according to the co-design process, but still had budgetary limitations to its design. We also identified behavioral barriers to engagement with the Share It toolkit. We found that food sharers could be easily deterred or discouraged by the impression of needing to provide a lot of data, even though they had quite a simplified, streamlined version of the toolkit and excessive user manuals and video support. There still was, it was easy to be deterred and have the impression that there was a large data load associated with completing a sustainability impact report. The key outcomes of that research piece was that the majority of food sharers do need additional support to engage with sustainability impact assessment, and that we would love to bring the outcome of the Share It toolkit to other possible policymakers and funders and see what their feedback is on how useful the Share It toolkit could be for them. Next slide, please. So what's next for Share It? Well, we've identified from this feedback some technical upgrades. One of the primary upgrades we're excited to make is to provide bespoke pathways. Currently in the pilot model, a food sharer will see all questions relating to eating food together, growing food together, and redistributing excess food. We'd like to streamline this experience so that they only see questions relevant to them, so that they're not distracted by irrelevant questions and get that impression that there's a much bigger workload than there really is to complete a Share It sustainability report. And we're looking forward to translating the Share It toolkit into other languages to increase its international reach. We've also identified that more supports are needed in our next steps for Share It, so we're developing a service model to enable smaller organizations to complete sustainability impact assessments. And there's behavioral change that's needed for Share It to be successful as we work to raise awareness about the benefits of sustainability reporting and normalize reporting practices among food sharers. Next slide, please. So another step we're keen to do is to test with potential investors for Share It. So we want to bring the outputs of Share It to groups such as local authorities and show them the potential for Share It to demonstrate the sustainability impacts food sharers in their jurisdiction are having. We also want to bring it to supermarkets who are currently providing surplus food donations to food sharers through their corporate social responsibility portfolios, and Share It can offer to them a way to capture the impacts of these donations and see the follow-on benefits sustainability benefits of their work. And we want to bring it to for-profit food sharers so that they can perhaps pay a consultancy fee to share it in return for a report that details to their customers how they are achieving a more sustainable world through their food sharing work. Next slide, please. So we're currently in the process of business planning with Share It. So we know what our value offer is with Share It. Our value is that we have a comprehensive online toolkit that is accessible, affordable, bespoke, and research-based that can demonstrate the social, economic, and environmental value of food sharing. We can deliver this value primarily by providing it free at point of use to all food sharers online at present, and any of you can sign up and try it out. But we also have identified another delivery channel is needed, where we need to make this value more accessible to food sharers by developing a range of additional support options for groups, especially those with low reporting experience or capacity. We also need to capture value back to financially sustain Share It into the future. So we're in the process of identifying potential investors, such as local authorities or supermarkets and food retailers that are supporting food sharing initiatives. We want to assess their willingness to pay for a service that would demonstrate the impacts of food sharing in their jurisdiction or the impacts of food sharers on their corporate social responsibility portfolios. And then we want to bring an investment pitch to them and seek financing to continue the Share It journey. Next slide, please. So that's what we have to share with you today. Thank you so much for your attention. Here are the details on all of our socials. Please do join our journey online, and please do go to our website and try out the toolkit. If you have any ideas, any potential investors, or you know of food sharers that could benefit from this free toolkit, please do reach out to us and let us know. Thank you.